Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. On the show tonight, the Centre places 40 plus crore orders for more vaccines. The big question, are we truly on track to vaccinate all adults by December? Also on the show tonight, at least 17 pilots across airlines have lost their lives. Pilots want to be declared frontline workers and want insurance schemes that ensure that families are protected if they perish to COVID. Tonight we are joined by three brave family members of three pilots who unfortunately lost their lives. But first, this reality check on the new vaccine policy, which will cost the government around 50,000 crores, for which the centre says they do have the necessary funds. But the big question is this: will there be a shortfall of doses? By the 31st of December, the government's target is to fully vaccinate 108 crore people with 2 doses. This means 216 crore doses. The availability as per today's government report by the end of December, 187.2 crores. So there's a shortfall of 28.8 crore doses. Will that 28.8 crore doses be filled by the private sector? Now the prices have also come in. Covishield in private hospitals will be 780 rupees, Covaxin 1410 and Sputnik at 1145 per dose. Will anybody be willing to pay these charges when they can actually get it free? How many people would actually want these prices? So let's give you a couple of details. Now the big concern, the availability as per the government report I was talking about, 187.2 crore, the shortfall 28.8 crore doses. So what is the breakup? Between January to July, 53.6 crore doses will have been procured, including 30 crore doses between now and the end of July. August to December, 133.6 crore doses. But take a look at this chart. Now on this chart, there are 5 vaccines. Of these, the vaccines by BioE and Zydus Cadila, both of which the government is heavily banking on, are still to be cleared in their trials, only after which they can ramp up manufacture. So where do the bulk of the vaccines come from? Well, the existing players, the Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech. Now NDTV has learned that the Serum Institute will ramp up production from the present 6.5 lakh crore doses per day to 10 crore doses a month in July. But getting vaccines is one thing. Vaccination is something else. Let's play that last point now. At the present pace of vaccination, India will need to increase its rate of vaccination over threefold to a whopping 93 lakhs a day in order to meet its goal. That is a huge task. Think about it. Presently about 28 lakh doses a day on a good day. We need 93 lakh doses a day starting tomorrow for us to be able to reach that target that we seek by the month of December, the end of December, an increase of over 3%, 3 times, threefold increase. Where are the vaccines going to come from and when? Our first guest this evening, Dr. Amit Mitra, the Finance Minister of Bengal. Thanks, sir, very much for being with us. I think you would welcome vaccines finally being made free, should people choose not to pay. But the question is this: where will the vaccines come from? Is that your present concern?
Well, my first statement is that finally the government of India and the Prime Minister has woken up. Let me submit to you, for your viewers, that since 16th of January, there's been a continuous flip-flop, which is very worrisome. And 16th of January, only health workers. 15 days later, frontline workers. 1st of March, 60 plus age group and 45 plus comorbidity. 1st of April, 45 universal, 45 age group universal. Finally, 1st of May comes the liberalization, 18 plus. But pushed to the states, 25% to the states to buy it on their own, and private sector 25%. Now 7th of May, Honorable Prime Minister has now brought in 75% government, which will all be given to the states, and 25% private. My first point is, countries after countries in the world, it's 100% government. USA, UK, these are capitalist economies. Japan, you take them, they're 100% government. Why 75%? Why not 100%? That's the first question I'd like your viewers to think about. The second point is, as you said correctly, 187 crores is the what we would need. Only last month, rather this month, there was a meeting with the central government and the states, and they say we are producing 7.5 crores of vaccines a month. 7.5 crores. That means in till December, we will have produced approximately 53 crores vaccines. So what remains between 187 crores required and 53 produced is approximately 133 crores of vaccines will have to be produced. And as you correctly said, only two companies, that is Covishield by AstraZeneca Oxford, so not Atmanirbhar Bharat, they're really foreign companies. They are producing massively and practically 90%, and 10% by Covaxin, which is Bharat Biotech, with again collaboration with an American firm. As far as the other three are concerned, I'm deeply concerned that they're not even into the final stages of their trials. And what are the numbers being given to us? Oh, BioE will produce 30 crores. Hello. BioE has not completed its trials, just as Covaxin has not completed third round. We don't even know where BioE is. Zydus Cadila 5 crores. Sputnik 10 crores. Sputnik has been formalized. So my second question is, 133 crores is going to be the shortfall from what is being currently produced as per the meeting with the government of India. So my submission is, one is policy flip-flop,
okay,
which has perhaps cost us a proportion of 2 lakh lives, because since January 16th, 1,99,000 people have died. Had we woken up and had we taken a decision of strong nature, at least a proportion of those lives would have been saved.
Dr. Mitra, my next question to you is this.
Yes.
Just assuming we get all of the vaccines that we need
Yes.
in position for tomorrow, at least
Yes.
the amount that we would need in India for tomorrow itself, how do we physically in our country scale up more than 3%? Threefold to meet that requirement so that we can vaccinate all adults by the end of December?
This is what happens when you wake up like a Meghnad after some time, because the infrastructure to do this. Now, West Bengal, we have vaccinated 1.65 crores people, despite all this flip-flop. And strategically, we have vaccinated, where Mamata Banerjee is the health minister as well, of those who come into maximum contact with the public. So when you're asking how do we do this, Kolkata as a metropolitan city is the highest vaccinated metropolitan city in the country, so that was possible. And who did we target? Those who come into contact: hawkers, transport workers, fish and vegetable sellers, ration shop owners, domestic health. All these people are what they call super spreaders, but I would call them those who are in direct contact with the public. Now we go to the small towns, and from small towns in my constituency, and then the villages which are connected to the small towns. So you're absolutely right. First point is, are we going to get 133 crores of additional vaccines? When in fact, 3 companies are not yet officially certified. Second question is, even if we do, how would we deliver this and the cold chain required, whatever, given the nature of the vaccine, right to the village level? And as you have shown in UP in your project just now, how people in the bodies are being thrown in the Ganges River because they don't know what to do, poor people. So my submission is, will we get, now that the government has woken up finally, having lost 2 lakh lives between that and now, at least a proportion of them could have been saved through vaccine. Are we going to be able to deliver? West Bengal has done in metropolitan Kolkata, among the best. But
Sure.
The question is now going into small towns, into villages. Where is the infrastructure to do that? We have to gear this up very late in the day.
Right.
So it's concerning as much as you have said. 133, where will we get 133 crores?
No, exactly. So it's a
How do we
twofold
do it?
battle. It sounds great when we say we are going to be getting so many vaccines, and we just, all of us are on the same team. We want these vaccines. The question
Yes.
is, even if we get it, how are we going to administer it, and what is the plan
Yes.
to do that? The
I
thing is,
think you're-
between now and the end of July, when vaccines start coming in a big
Yes.
way, we will not be able to meet that target, and therefore that curve, which requires us as of now to start vaccinating at more than threefold, will be even sharper.
Absolutely, but
And so
let me
that
also-
target will not be met. That's the worry. That's
no,
the
but
worry.
I think that aside from the target, I'm even concerned about the numbers that you're talking about. Will they be there?
Right, fair,
Because
absolutely.
three
And yeah, I mean,
three
one,
companies are
you
not
cannot
verified.
vaccinate without the vaccines. So,
By the way, just to give you data, now in India we have vaccinated only 3.4% fully, and approximately 14% with one dose. Now, to get to the point where the virus is really controlled, the United States has done 42.6% fully covered, and UK 47.5% fully, double dose.
right.
So what you're really looking at to get to the point, to get to finally herd immunity,
Which is actually 80%, by the way. Dr. Fauci in the US said
Yes.
80%. So, I mean,
Yes,
we aren't in that same ballpark. But, Dr. Mitra, I'm running short of time on this interview.
Yeah, 3.4% today is all that we have done.
Correct.
Therefore, it's an uphill task. I am very happy this has happened. And the last point is, why not 100% by the government? Why 75%?
Right, you
government
made
and
that point. Why doesn't the
private?
government buy all of these doses? I take that, sir.
All of the major countries are
Sure.
doing that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mitra, for making those three critical points. I'm joined now by the BJP leader, Dinesh Trivedi. Dinesh bhai, thanks very much for being with us. You heard parts of that interview. The point is this: everybody in their right mind wants as many vaccines as possible. Realistically, are we going to get them, considering that a few of them, right, are still in the trial stage? In fact, there are more than 2 in the trial stage. There are actually 3+ in the trial stage. We depend on all of them.
So, Vishnu, I could not hear Amit Mitra, who's a very dear friend and a very learned gentleman. But my point is very simple, Vishnu. I think the Honorable Prime Minister was very crystal clear as to what the forward-looking vaccination drive is all about, and mention about the history also. I just want to understand one thing. We are in the same boat, all of us. Just allow me just 1 minute, and you know I'm coming to the point, but I have to give you this background. I mean, this vaccine doesn't recognize the President of USA or the Home Minister of India or the Prime Minister of UK. So the whole idea is there has to be some trust. And understand that if you were talking first week of May, nobody would have imagined that by end of May, we would be talking about lockdown. So obviously behind the scene, this government is working because all our people, this is a big family. So there has to be some trust. And I don't think so I can elaborate much on what the Honorable Prime Minister had said. I was just listening to Amit Mitraji's saying, oh, US has done 34%, this country has done that %. Please understand the population. And Amit Mitra knows figures. Our population, can you compare with New Zealand or with America? I mean, amazingly, the whole world is astonished.
But Mr. Trivedi, the population, obviously, it cannot be compared. Ours is much larger, which is why you need to procure more vaccines faster. Was that done?
Absolutely, because while I'll tell you, while the states and health.
Sir, the first dose of vaccines, the first consignment of vaccines was ordered in the month of January. By about April last year, the US had ordered 400 million. They have a smaller population. The UK had ordered hundreds of millions as well. We didn't do that, and there's a follow-on effect, which is why we are desperate for vaccines now.
Yeah, I understand your question, but if you allow me to answer.
Go ahead, sir.
First of all, I'm not the government. And what the government knows, you and I, we don't know.
Right.
Okay? So having said that, government is always interested. And please understand, at the war footing, the way they have organized. Now, in a private hospital, it is not the job of the government to ensure how your operation theater is, how much oxygen. This is like a cloudburst. It just happened. and in the war footing they have done. So there is something called appreciation. We have to be very proud, like the Honorable Prime Minister, way back in November last year, he went to the vaccine manufacturing premises, inspected them. So they were gearing up for what is to be happening in future. We have to be proud that there are two manufacturers which is Make in India. And Covaxin is Indian vaccine. So please understand, lot of research, a vaccine which otherwise would take 15 years was delivered in less than 15 months by Indian scientists. So I think the point is very simple, Vishnu. Let us move forward.
Okay, I take that point, sir. Let us move forward, because I think we don't have an option in this country other than to move forward and to try and ensure that we get the vaccines in the numbers that we want. I'm only interrupting you now because I'm run short on time.
Yeah, I'll just conclude that whether you want to fight the virus or you want to fight the Prime Minister, and looks like perhaps some of them are more interested in fighting Mr. Modi and not the virus. Let's come together, let's solve. And I can guarantee you, per day, 1 crore of vaccine is doable. We will talk sometimes in December where the world will say, wow, India has done a great
100%, sir. And we look forward to that day. Let's just hope that that day arrives. Thanks, sir, very much for being with us. Pilots belonging to the Federation of Indian Pilots, which represents 5,600 plus pilots across airlines, have filed a petition before the Bombay High Court. They want to be granted the status of frontline workers after 17 pilots at least. In fact, that number is larger. But when they filed the petition, it was 17 pilots have died in the last 14 months. They also have demanded priority vaccination. Pilots demand death or permanent medical unfitness compensation under new insurance schemes. They want a separate category called air transportation workers who are vaccinated on a priority. And pilots want the government to define air insurance payable to pilots operating Vande Bharat or non-scheduled flights. In Air India alone, 1,995 personnel tested positive, 583 required hospitalization in February this year. Till February 2021, over 2.21 million passengers were repatriated by Air India alone in a total of 16,000 flights. But the point that's important over here, this is not only about Air India, it's about all Indian airlines. Joining us now, Mridusmita Das Tiwari, the wife of late Captain Harish Tiwari, Purva Karmakar, she's the daughter of Captain Karmakar, and Shalu Rana, the wife of Captain Rana. These are three very, very gutsy family members. They've lost their near and dear ones, their loved ones, and yet they've chosen to speak out about this. Mridusmita, your husband was very young. He was in the prime of life when this happened. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through what you had to go through. How did he place his job as #1 priority despite knowing that he was flying in a COVID situation?
Right now, I am in Haridwar doing his last rites. Today, we just lost him on the 30th May. He was a passionate flyer. When he got into Air India, he was in A320. When he got a chance to fly the wide body, he was so passionate about it, he just grabbed the opportunity. He started afresh, and he was, now we hear from his colleagues that how good a flyer he was. He was patriot at heart, believed on the government a lot. He did his flights during the pandemic when it started. He took all precautions necessary. He had the Air India COVID test before the flights. He would keep himself protected however he could, be in the layover only in the hotels, not mingling with people. He took utmost care.
Yeah.
But when he come back home, he makes sure that he doesn't touch anybody without getting sterilized. He just rushed to the washroom. My parents are old, my in-laws, they're retired. I have a 5-year-old. He just started our life. Yeah. he would make sure that.
This, and I thank you for your courage to speak about him. And through this little program, I promise you, we will try and honor his memory. Purva Karmakar, tell us a little bit about your father.
Good evening. I recently lost my father to COVID. He was a pilot with Air India since 1991. In April last year, he flew to China on various occasions to bring back a lot of medical supplies to India. He was also part of the Vande Bharat mission, flying civilians to and from various destinations across the world. From the beginning, we knew the risk that he was taking, putting his life on the line of duty. And as proud as I am of him that he stuck to his duty and he was true to his mission, it really saddens me that these crew members were not put on the front line as treated as frontline COVID warriors. And I'm really sad that, due to lack of vaccination and due to other such things, he had to lose his life on the line of duty. Thank you.
Right. Mridusmita, I see your daughter has also joined in the frame. It's just, it's so sad that she should lose her father in this manner. I wanted to go across to Shalu Rana, the wife of Captain Rana, who very sadly passed away. As a family, how did you deal with the fact that your husband would constantly be going to work, in a situation where COVID was so rampant?
I would say that Sandeep was never scared of operating these Vande Bharat flights. And I mean, he flew to places where, no one was ready to go. He was very proud of serving the nation at this current time of crisis for the nation. And I was never scared that, he was going for these flights, because I knew that he was taking full precautions. And even during the flight, be it at the, if he's going for a night stop flight, he was taking all precautions. And even when he came back home, he would, the first thing he would go and have a nice shower, put all his clothes for laundry, and then come and meet us.
Right. So, just one final question that I have over here for Mridusmita. Mridusmita, I see you've got your child with you as well. And, it's such a difficult situation like this. Is there any way that you can explain this to your little daughter, what exactly has happened?
She doesn't know yet. She doesn't know. She is waiting for her father to come back. She knows that he is in the hospital. She is just asking why it's taking so long for him to return. Yeah. She is not used to being without him. Yeah. Every day she waits. She doesn't know anything. She just don't know. Look at her face. We are a family who are associated with Air India for the last 3 generations. My grandfather, S.N. Tiwari, was also with Air India. So we are proud to be with Air India. If he was only vaccinated, we would not have been destroyed. He might have survived. She doesn't know. I have to answer her questions.
Ma'am, stay strong like this. You've gone for his final rites, and I will. I can't even imagine what all of you are going through. I'd like to thank you very much, all of you, for being with us.
I just wanted to join this so that nobody has to face this, what we have faced. All these brave people needs support. They are the frontline warriors. They have never said no to the flights.
Yeah.
They have helped 1,000 and they deserve more.
They absolutely do, and hopefully there will be.
Can I say a word?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I say a line here? Yeah, I totally agree with Mrs. Tiwari. This is not the way that our husbands and fathers should have gone. No, this was just not done. And I mean, they should have been considered as frontline workers and given the vaccines on time.
Well, hopefully,
I had taken a vaccine. I also had COVID, But what the doctors told me, that because I had taken the vaccine, my symptoms were milder. Sandeep did not get the vaccine, so he got more severe symptoms.
Well, I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us and having the courage to come on this program. Thank you very much indeed.